Hello, everybody, and welcome back to what should be the final episode of Until Dawn, and most likely is. Because, like I said in the last video, I was already at about 45 minutes ish, and I knew that the end of the game was coming up, but I knew I wasn't going to be able to fit it all in within less than 20 minutes. So, here we are. This is definitely the end. I mean, I'm saying should be just for the sake of covering my ass, but this is pretty much definitely the last episode. um, so all we have to do is get one more totem, I do believe. Yep. I just need the last danger totem. And like I said in the last video, I am literally missing just the one 1952 clue. And that's because there was a secret page in the journal that the stranger had left us when we were in the basement when there's an opportunity for Mike to shoot Emily in the face. But yeah, so now we're Sam, heading back to the lodge. We're gonna jump, because we want to do everything quickly in this. Okay. And then grab overhang, square, triangle, circle.
Come on.
Okay, alright, here we are. So now he said, in the video, Nukem Dukem said to go to the right. And then I believe he goes right again at this point. Yes, he goes further this way. And then the totem is right here. Here we go. Final totem. That's it. All the totems. Night of the Totem Hunter. Hell yeah. Okay. Now, if I go into this, I can play this video, which I'm going to go ahead and play real quick for you guys.
Many years ago, my grandfather hunted those possessed by the curse. But there was one that eluded him. The fiercest of all. The Macapichu. It was a terrible thing, and my grandfather could not defeat it. Sometime after, the prospectors came to mine this mountain, until a cave-in trapped the men and woke the curse again. And there were dozens of men with no food, no light. And in that blackness, the hunger came. They were consumed by their abominable cravings and driven mad. Murderers. Cannibals. Eating human flesh. And if you kill this monstrous thing, the spirit is released and swirls the mountain like an evil wind waiting to possess again. You best not kill them, I have tried. You can only trap them, taunt them with fire. And after all these years, after many moons and many hunts, the Macapichu still roamed free, out of my grasp, beyond my reach. Until one night, a year ago, I was finally able to get him in my sights. But we were not alone in the woods that night. While I was tracking the Macapichu, it was tracking something else.
Where'd the sign go?
Macapichu forced your
There's
friends
supposed to be a
over the
sign
mountain.
behind them.
There was nothing I could do.
No!
I couldn't save your friends, but I could avenge them. I hunted the Wendigo down and I doused it with fire. The Macapichu was dead.
Wow. Damn, that's intense. But yeah, it just shows that also, like, when I had stated before that stuff, like, seeing the totems and everything, it just shows how the development process of this game went, where they had to finish all the filming and the animating and everything before they actually, worked on stuff like the totems, because they had to have the footage to include with the totems. But you can also tell that a lot of it just wasn't finished. Like that right there. There was supposed to be a sign behind Hannah and Beth that, if you remember, breaks in half, and the top half, or the left half is still on the cliff when you're there with with Matt and Emily, and they're about to be, forced off the ledge by the herd of elk. And then the other half is actually down in the mine, where when you're Emily, and you actually find the spot where they fell, because you can find some of their stuff, like shoot, too far, like Hannah's glasses, the locket, marks on the rock that Hannah was marking to, show how long she'd been down there, Beth's cross, all that stuff. You can find that stuff in the area where Hannah and Beth fell into the mine, and the right half of that sign is there. But yet in that clip, you could see that there was no sign. So while the cutscene was finished, there were details that were left out of it that they added later on, after they implemented the totem process and then also the events of the past scene. So again, just more really cool details that they include for this game. Just more reason why I really like it, even with its flaws. Like I said last time, with Josh having a really shitty plan for his little game by targeting the only 3 people that really had nothing to do with the prank that took place 1 year ago. Because like I had said last time, Ashley was the only one that was even remotely involved. And in her case, she was just an observer. Like, she was just kind of there watching, which is still bad. It's like when people are like, the people who let the Holocaust happen, they just kind of stood by and watched while Nazis exterminated people. They're just as bad as the Nazis, which, no, they're not as bad. They're still bad, but they're not as bad. Because they're not the ones actually doing it. They're just too afraid to stand up and stop it. Which, again, still bad. And that's basically what Ashley did. On a much smaller scale. Much smaller stakes. But that's basically what she did. So all Ashley was really guilty of was, being a passive observer. But she had nothing to do with the prank, and yet Josh targeted her. And then Chris, despite claiming that he was involved in the prank, wasn't involved in the prank because he was passed out drunk along with Josh. And then Sam was trying to warn Hannah about the prank. So, again, his plan is stupid. But stuff like that, despite being a flaw of the game, I still enjoy it. It's still a good game. Oop.
Hey! Hey! Oh, come on, open up! Guys, come on, are you in there? Let me in!
Sam. Yep. What's up, Mike?
Mike. Oh, gosh. You look terrible.
It'll look worse if we stay out here. Come on.
Okay, well... Oh. I thought she was gonna... I thought there was gonna be a key under that, or if it was a fake rock or something, but nope. She just broke the window.
Mike, what happened to Josh?
I got him.
God, what an awful way to go.
Not good.
Those switches didn't even move.
What do you think?
Another flaw of the game.
We should check the basement. Might be someone left down there.
Okay. Can we walk? Thank you. Just Mac was just in the fucking way there.
How do you rate our chances of survival?
I'm trying not to think about it.
Oh shit.
Run!
Oh, shit!
Uh-oh. They're standing still. That's not a good sign. Oh, hey, Hannah. Yep, definitely don't move.
Don't fucking move a muscle.
And for this sequence, I am gonna just keep the controller down and not hold it at all, because I've come too far to lose anybody because of fucking movement. But it's also like these segments go on for a lot longer. Okay, I'm safe to move for a moment. Oop, they broke the gas line. Damn, Hannah! Don't move. Yeah, these sequences go on for so long, and whenever I do them, I hold my breath. So I'm constantly worried about, like, me breathing ever so slightly and moving the controller and costing me a character. Okay, Chris is out. Chris is safe. Save Mike.
Hey!
Then, once again, don't move. Emily's safe. Don't move. I'm still kind of moving only a very little bit because of the fact that my headphones are plugged into my controller, so if I, like, jerk, that controller's gonna go fucking flying. And then hide, because we don't want to run for the switch, because people are still in the lodge. Yep, see, Ashley was still in here. And so was Mike. So again, don't move. Do not move. Or don't jerk the controller with the fucking headphone cord. Okay. Like, being autistic and essentially having ADHD, I'm constantly worried about, like, just randomly spasming, you know? Okay, Mike is making his way out. Don't move, don't move, don't move. Like, I'm, like, hyper aware of my body in moments like this, where I literally just, like, it's such a weird feeling, being so hyper focused on my body. Like being so hyper aware. Okay, Sam's running, Sam's running. I don't think I have to worry about anything. I think we're good. Yes! That's it. That's everybody. Butterfly effect update. Once bitten, Mike spared Emily. Ashley was faced with a dilemma. Emily pushed past Ashley, putting her at risk. Interesting. But she's still fine, because Sam escaped. Mike escaped. Ashley escaped. Emily escaped. Chris escaped. That's everyone. Because Matt and Jessica are also alive. Status update. Brave went up. A bunch of stuff went down. Nobody's relationships went up or down or anything. Okay.
We have visual. The main structure is completely destroyed. Over. Hold on. I'm seeing something. It looks like there are survivors.
Yeah.
Let's
About
pick them up.
7 of them. The quicker man. All the boys escaped death. And then they all live, which, of course, all 8 friends survived until dawn. 4 daughters have died. Oh, okay, so there was a girl one. Okay, I just didn't see that one for some reason. That trophy. Don't scare Jessica to death. Jessica survived her night of terror. Okay, is that all of them? All of them are on pop at the moment? Okay.
Fuck! No!
And then we are going to sit through the credits because there's extra scenes here.
The old man, I don't know how to describe him. I mean,
You said you thought he was stalking you at first. Did anyone else in your group think that?
well, yeah.
Is it possible they could have killed him?
What? No. No, you don't understand. Don't you
And
understand?
if he attacked you,
He saved my life. And I watched him die.
I heard Jessica. I don't know how or why she was down there, but I know I heard her.
He held it right up to my face. Right here, right in front of my nose, and he could have shot me. He almost shot me, the prick. I mean, you go out with a guy for however long and you think you know him, but man, this one really takes the cake.
I was right there, and I could have done something. I tried to do something. It wasn't good enough.
How did you end up in the mines?
I was carried and taken, and
What did you see?
I don't know. I don't know.
He was out of his fucking mind. He wanted to hurt us. Okay? And I thought he was the one who attacked Jess.
I thought we were close. After his sisters disappeared, he'd come and talk to me. He said I was the only one who understood him. I thought we had a connection.
If you need someone to talk to,
I'm fine.
sometimes, after a traumatic experience,
I said I'm fine.
I stabbed him and I tried to get away, but I didn't know. I swear I didn't know.
Didn't know? Who did you stab?
Oh, I stabbed the maniac. I didn't know it was Josh, but then he was the psycho. And how was I supposed to know Josh had all the saws and the gun and oh my god.
You bringing in Meat Brain next? Gonna kick him around a bit for me?
I'm sorry?
Meat Brain, Mr. Muscle Brawn, Matt the Incredible Sulk.
Is there something we need to know?
Oh, no, nothing important except, you know, how he basically left me to die up on a freaking tumbling tower like a world-class douche nozzle?
Your friend Ashley, she told us she tried to help you. She said she heard you calling out.
Not me. Mike.
What do you remember?
He came for me.
Yeah, not the way you wanted, though.
Came for you?
Where is he? Did he make it?
You need to listen to me. I don't care if you believe me or not. Doesn't matter because you will. You need to go down to the mines.
What's in the mines, Sam?
I've seen what's down there, and I'd give anything to unsee it.
Okay, so, I mean, there's not really much more left to skip anyway. Also, interestingly enough, this song is not copyrighted, which you would think it is. Oh, yeah, okay, actually, I can't skip it. So let me go ahead and skip it. But yeah, interestingly enough, Oh Death is not a copyrighted song. Oh, wait, hold on, here we go.
There's something down here.
I have a visual on a survivor. One survivor, repeat. Is that? Oh, fuck! Stay back! Stay back! No, no! Stay back!
It didn't let me check the butterfly effect update, but that's okay. Oh, I can do it here probably. Important discovery, so yeah. Josh was alive, trapped, and cannibalistic. So yep. Poor Josh. Yeah. You really can't help but feel bad for the guy, because the whole thing about him with the game, not only was he already mentally ill because apparently he's schizophrenic, but then that whole trauma of losing both of his sisters in one night because of his supposed friends pulling a prank on his one sister. They both run out into the woods, and then they both end up dead. So yeah, of course deep down he's gonna fucking blame them. Weirdly enough, the ones that are mostly innocent more than the ones that were actually involved. And then you know, he had medication he was taking, but it seemed like he had been taking it up until the night they were all supposed to go up to the lodge, because he seems totally fine when they first get there. And then after he fakes his death, his mental state just rapidly declines to the point where he's just sitting there rambling and just spouting inane nonsense, like the whole Chris and Ash. Chris is an ass. Ash is a dum-dum. You know, or the sleepover. Can we order a pizza? You know, like you can't help but laugh because of the way that Rami Malek delivers those lines. I mean, he does a really good job delivering them. But then you stop and think about it, and it's still really kind of sad because of the mental illnesses. And then, like MatPat had said in his game theory, he was kind of screwed from the start because he was misdiagnosed. They thought he was suffering from depression, so they gave him stuff like fluoxetine, which again I can't remember the actual like brand name off the top of my head, but it's a depression medication. And from what I remember, he said, because I literally just rewatched his game 3 before recording these last two videos. But I believe, from what I remember, depression is caused by what is it? I think it's an influx of serotonin, maybe. And then the schizophrenia is the result of a low amount of dopamine, I think. Because MatPat kept reiterating that he wasn't having his dopamine problem figured out, because they thought he had depression, and so they weren't treating his schizophrenia. So yeah, I think that's what it is. It's a low amount of dopamine is a result of the schizophrenia. So he wasn't being given schizophrenia medication; he was being given antidepressants. So his doctors, like, you know, Dr. Hill, they weren't giving him the medication he actually needed, making his conditions and his mental state just that much worse. and yet he's the one character in the game that even if you save him, you don't really save him. Like, honestly, I think that the best fate for Josh out of both outcomes is just to let him get killed by the Hannah Wendigo. It would be a much better state for him anyway. And the crazy thing is, like, I'm not entirely sure if these people, when they transform into Wendigos, if they're still even remotely conscious. I mean, I think they are, because of the fact that, you know, just because of the fact that Josh survived. You know, because he recognized Hannah and Hannah recognized Josh. And because Hannah recognized Josh, I do think that there is some form of consciousness still left in these Wendigos. So, similar to the cordyceps fungus in The Last of Us, and also in real life, actually, when the cordyceps fungus takes over somebody, they are still aware. You know, because they've done the study on ants, because they're the ones that are actually affected by cordyceps in real life. And ants are fully aware when they're being controlled by cordyceps fungus. You know, when the fungus is taking control of their bodies, they are still completely aware. They just have no control. And something tells me that the Wendigos function in a very similar way. Like, they might not be nearly as aware as a person or a creature or whatever affected by cordyceps, because of the fact that it does fuck with the brain completely. But with cordyceps, it only really attacks the motor functions, you know. So the cordyceps takes control of the motor functions, but nothing else. The Wendigo spirit seems to take full control over the brain, meaning that, yeah, those people are still alive, but they're no longer the same at all. Like, Hannah, as soon as she went cannibal, the Wendigo spirit slowly started possessing her entire mind, but it kind of turned herself into a Wendigo. It didn't just turn her body into a Wendigo. Hannah herself became a Wendigo. And so while she was able to briefly fight it long enough to recognize Josh and not kill him, she was still, for the most part, unable to, you know, revert to normal. So Josh is basically now in the same boat. He has gone cannibal, and therefore now is, you know, fated to become a Wendigo, and he's no longer really in control of who he once was. He's still there. Like the, how do I want to put it? The spirit of Josh, essentially. I mean, I don't really believe in spirits, but just for lack of a better term, the spirit of Josh is still there. You know, the brain activity of Josh is still there, but it's been twisted into something else entirely. And because of that, he is living a fate worse than death. So in my mind, I think that the better fate for him is to just let him die. But as far as my playthrough goes, you won't be seeing that happen, any of that, you know, because again, like I said, this is only playthrough 1. But you won't be seeing playthrough 2 until the remake comes out. Because I only played this one because A, I had free access to it because of PlayStation Plus, and B, the remake isn't out yet. I didn't want to wait. So I decided, okay, well, I'll do playthrough 1 on the regular game, and everybody will survive. And then in the remake is when I will do the playthrough where everybody dies. At least for YouTube. I'm probably still going to go and replay through this game because I want all those trophies, you know? But as far as YouTube goes, I won't be playing the Everybody Dies game playthrough until the remake comes out. Which actually kind of works out anyway, because I'd like to see how the graphics on, like, the gore get updated. I mean, I won't lie, I'm pretty fucking sick and twisted in the head, so I like seeing gore mechanics in video games. But I also still have, a moral capacity to not like seeing that in real life. I hate when shit like that happens to people in real life. When people get brutally murdered or like the mass shootings or whatever. Obviously, I have enough of a fucking moral compass to know that shit's not okay. But in a virtual space, it's just kind of fascinating to see how the human body is both put together and taken apart. That's why I love stuff like Mortal Kombat. That's why I love stuff like Saw. Because none of it's real, but it's done in like a realistic enough way that you kind of get a decent mental image of how the body works in your mind. And that alone is just a really cool idea to me. There are things that I would not know about the human body if it wasn't for stuff like horror games or graphic video games like Mortal Kombat. Like for example, if you don't destroy the heart, it can still briefly continue to beat, even when you've been like fucking sliced in half. Or what is it, like when you've been decapitated, your brain briefly is still there. Like you still have like brief little, how do I want to put it? I guess sparks of brain activity or whatever. I don't know how else to describe that, but yeah, like your brain is still active for a very brief amount of time, even after you've been decapitated. Even after your whole body is pretty much dead, your brain is still briefly active. Like that's why when you see things like people's eyes roll back into their head, or they kind of drift to the sides or whatever, that's not just from the head being, loose and everything and the eyes no longer being in control. It's because of the fact that the brain is so fucked up that the neurons are still firing briefly. So it's just kind of firing randomly. It's not coherent like when, a normal person is able to like use their eyes, and for the most part they have like both eyes move at pretty much the same time. Obviously some people have more control over that. So some people can just, go cross-eyed or whatever whenever they feel like it. But for the most part, people, whenever they're like looking around, both eyes move at exactly the same time. They move in sync. So when you're decapitated like that, and your neurons are firing randomly the way they do, your eyes can just kind of drift in any real direction they feel like drifting because they're no longer in control. So it's stuff like that I find fascinating because of stuff like horror games and horror movies and just violent movies in general, violent movies and games in general. It fascinates me that there are just so many different ways that the body works, even when it's starting to no longer work. It's horrible when stuff like that actually happens to people in real life, but seeing it in a digital space or on like a film set or whatever, when seeing in a medium that is not real, it's a very enjoyable thing for me, just because of the pure science behind it. The science, and honestly sometimes the really bizarre, disgusting beauty of things. Like some people have described like the Viking blood eagle as like disgustingly beautiful because of like the symmetry of it and the fact that like it does kind of look like wings almost when they do what they do. Because if you don't know what a blood eagle is, basically what they do is it was a Viking method of torturing somebody to death. Essentially, it was an execution style where they're tortured to death basically, but they split the back down the middle. They'll reach in to the torso and pull the lungs back behind the ribs. And usually the person is also like on their knees with their arms outstretched to their sides. So like they're T-posing basically, but they're on their knees. And when they split the back, they pull the two flaps to the side to make it look like wings connected to the arms. And then they reach in and pull the lungs back behind the rib cage, so they essentially suffocate to death. And something like that, it's horrible. It's a horrible thing that actually happened. But when seen in like drawings or in video game form. I do believe that there are examples of that in like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which was the Viking game for that franchise. When seen in a medium that is not real, there is a weird, disturbing kind of beauty to it. And I know that makes me sound fucking insane and crazy, but there are a lot of people who agree with me. And they're also, like me, they're not fucking psychopaths who want to see that happen in real life. You know? It's because people don't seem to understand a lot of the time that despite shit like that, there are those of us who know where the line needs to be drawn. And people always want to try to jump to the conclusion like, oh, you're a sick, twisted individual, you're a horrible person because you enjoy stuff like this. No, I'm really not. Because I don't like seeing this stuff happen to real people. I like seeing it happen in a place where it's not actually hurting anybody. Except for maybe some fucking computer code. Or, you know, on a fucking film set done with special effects. You know? If it is not legitimately happening, then I'm okay with it. Some people aren't, and that's totally fine. You know, some people are just a little more squeamish, or they just don't enjoy seeing, you know, that kind of stuff. And that's perfectly fine. It's totally valid. Everybody has their preferences. But you cannot, you know, attack somebody for enjoying something as long as it's not harming anybody else, really. Like, if you're somebody that enjoys stuff like Saw, and you're forcing it on somebody that just doesn't like Saw, or stuff like it, that's a little messed up. Like, it doesn't make you a bad person, necessarily. It just it's just a rude thing to do. But when you're somebody who will sit there and, you know, act like you're all high and mighty, you're up on your fucking high horse, and like, oh, I don't like that stuff because it's evil, and you're evil for liking it, that's just messed up, in my opinion. And there's a lot of people like that out there. So I guess what my message here is, essentially, is if you enjoy something and it doesn't hurt anybody, in reality, if it does not actually hurt anybody in the real world, don't feel bad for enjoying it. Because as long as you are not actively hurting anyone, then there is no harm done. And don't let anybody get under your skin with it, because they're just ignorant, essentially. Like they don't understand it. And it's okay to not understand it, but you shouldn't be hating people or judging them for things that they enjoy when it is not harmful. You know, it's like when I was discussing the other day about, well, in the other video anyway, about Christianity or religion in general, when they get so contradictory that they hate people for basically not agreeing with their beliefs, or living a lifestyle that goes against their beliefs but doesn't actually hurt them. You know, like Christians who hate gay people, or Muslims who hate gay people, or really, or the whatever, what is it, Shinto, I think is what Chinese people's religion are. But whatever religious beliefs come from China that cause them to not allow media that has gay undertones or overtones in their country, which is why a lot of the time Disney steers away from it for their stuff. But stuff like that, you know, that's not okay, because you are judging people based on who they are and not what they do. You know, and then it's like the conservatives here in America who are anti-trans, because like, oh, well, a guy can just walk up and say, oh, I identify as a woman, and then therefore have every right to go into the ladies' locker room and do whatever they want to do. And no, that's not the case. I mean, yeah, there are probably some sick fucking people out there that are like that, but that's why there are a lot of safeguards in place for stuff like that. Like, usually, if you identify as trans, you have your own bathroom that is a single person bathroom. You know, like they covered that in shows like South Park, you know, where like there was that episode where Cartman, you know, like it opens with him seemingly like about ready to be like an active shooter at the school, and he's got his hand in his pocket constantly, And then all of a sudden he goes to the bathroom, the stall is taken, he's like, this is my stall, this is the time I use this stall. And somebody's in there. And he's like, all right, you pushed me to do this. And he goes and reaches into his pocket, and you think he's going to pull out a gun. Nope, he pulls out a little pink bow and walks into the girls' room and just acts like it's totally normal. And the school has to be able to come past that and say, okay, well, Cartman, you can't do this. So what we're going to do, because we can't just say you aren't trans, even though, you know, if you know South Park, you know Cartman is not trans. He's literally just doing it to be an asshole. But in this society, you can't just accuse somebody of not being trans. So what they do is they create a whole bathroom specifically for Cartman, because at that time he's the only trans kid in the school. So he gets his own special bathroom, and they just kind of renovate a janitor's closet and turn it into a single-use bathroom. And then Wendy decides to prove her point by identifying as a man and then using Cartman's bathroom because now she's trans, allegedly, and now she's able to use the transgender bathroom. And Cartman gets all pissy about it. So obviously, yeah, there are people like that out there in the world, but there are safeguards like that in place. And people don't understand that, so they still go with that kind of an argument. And it's still hateful, it's still horrible belief. And unfortunately, there's even people on this platform, on YouTube, that are the same way. They have those same beliefs, and they try to spread them. You know, perfect example, Melanie Mack. I just saw this fucking thing the other day where she's been banned from Twitch for spreading anti-gay hate, saying, oh, LGBT is a sin, it's bad, and you're bad if you're gay. And it's like, she even posted the clip on her YouTube channel saying, Twitch banned me for this. And I'm like, yeah, because you're spreading hate speech, you dumb bitch. You're sitting there and hating an entire group of people and saying that they're horrible because of the way they were born. Like you're basically just doing the sexual orientation equivalent of racism. That's literally what it is. It's homophobia. Or it's transphobia. You know, it's all, you know, the same basic thing. It's discriminating against somebody's sexual orientation or sexual identity, etc. You know? It's why it all gets umbrellaed under the word prejudiced, because it's just bad. And honestly, I'm going off on a huge tangent, but point is, you know, don't be hating anybody because of what they believe, because of who they are, as long as they are not harming anybody else. If they have hateful beliefs, that's fine, as long as you aren't spreading them and trying to convince people of your, you know, hateful beliefs, you know? Like, because obviously everybody's entitled to their own opinion, entitled to their own beliefs, but if it's hateful, just keep it to yourself. You know, if you're going to hate somebody for enjoying gore, keep it to yourself. If you're going to hate somebody for being gay, keep it to yourself. Hate somebody for being a different skin color than you, keep it to yourself. You know, that's kind of what I'm trying to get at here. And I don't know why I went on this whole big tangent. It just, like I've said before, it just kind of happens. But anyway, you know, rant over. So I hope you guys enjoyed this series, and I hope you guys are looking forward to when the remake comes out, and I get around to doing the everybody dies ending. But yeah, anyway, like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, leave a like and comment, subscribe if you haven't already, and be sure to ring the bell to be notified of when I upload a new video. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then.